welcome to episode 5 of Picture Shows and Petticoats. I am Elizabeth from MissWizabeth.com.
I am Jennifer from InWhicHIblog.com.
We have been talking about Downton Abbey, if you've been following along. And we're at episode 5 here in the U.S. You're watching along with us on PBS. We love Masterpiece.
Love it.
I think we finally got some of the movement that I've been asking for.
Lots of movement in this episode.
I thought it was really interesting that Isabel just assumed that they would keep Downton Abbey open.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
She learned nothing.
I know. And I'm like, who do you even think you are? Because it's not your house. It's not even your kid's house yet. And you're trying to encourage them to keep the house open. No. Neither one of those women care to have their house open at all. So
it's like she just woke up the day before the fight with Cora and nothing ever happened. She never went to France. I don't know. Did she hit her head while she was over there?
I don't know. But do you feel like I feel like her performance, and I don't know if it's the performance or if it's how they're asking her to play this character, but does she seem off? She seems off to me. Like, she seemed very genuine and, I don't know, set in her ways, and, like she had a lot of convictions in the first season. And I still see that, but that was just such a dumb assumption to make, I thought. And I think she's smarter than that, so I don't know why.
Right. Maybe.
I don't know. I thought it was odd.
It is a little bit of a strange direction for her character to go, I think. I agree with that. But I almost wonder, are they trying to set something else up by getting her out of the way permanently?
I don't know. And, I mean, it was really too easy for them to con her into going to Europe and helping.
But I like Isabel, and I want her to be part of the show. I don't want her to go away.
I know. I like her, too.
We got to keep Cora and the Dowager grounded.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what Isabel provides.
Yeah.
It's just taking a weird turn.
Yeah, because I have to say, Cora is starting to annoy me just rewatched the episode a little bit ago, and the way she talks about, I don't know, she seems kind of like a little ninny.
Like a little what?
Ninny! You know a ninny? I don't even know the exact definition for that word, but it's appropriate.
Do we need to go to Urban Dictionary?
I don't want to know what Urban Dictionary has to say about it. Maybe something different on there. But I turn to that a lot in my daily work. I don't know. I feel like they're insulting her intelligence a little bit too. Like, I don't know. I felt like this episode, there were a couple of things that she said, I don't know, in talking, I don't know. I'm not sure. I have other thoughts about that, but we'll get there in a little bit.
But speaking of Cora and that particular scene with Isabel and the Dowager, I was blown away. I caught my breath. I couldn't breathe. She was stunning. That blue costume they put Cora in.
Oh, yeah.
And her big blue eyes.
I know.
Oh, my gosh. I was like, that was the kind of thing, I just hope that we get to see her in that a lot. Mm-hmm. It was gorgeous.
Her eyes were shining. They were beautiful.
Stunning. And speaking of costumes, I might skip ahead a little bit because I had a costume question.
Oh, okay.
Lady Mary, I've noticed that her evening dress for dinner has been the same, like, 5 or 6 times now. And I'm wondering, that's not normal for the family of the manor. So is this a wartime kind of thing where maybe stuff's not...
That wouldn't surprise me.
Available, or...
Either it's... Yeah, I would say probably more because it's not available rather than because they're trying to, keep up appearances there.
Because, if you look at season 1, that's not the way it is.
No, and they were buying clothes. You actually saw them.
Something different 5 times a day, and you never see the same thing twice.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And they seem to be dressed a little bit more conservatively, I think.
In this series?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a keen observation, Jennifer. I had not noticed.
I like it. I mean, I feel more connected to Mary that she's wearing the same thing twice.
Yeah. Well, and at the beginning of this episode, they are talking about William, and they're trying to, I guess, talk Daisy into cashing in on her pension, and she's not really interested in doing that. She says, you'll not make me false to his memory.
She's finally grown up. She's finally found herself and her courage, I think. She's finally saying no.
Yeah.
And not feeling like she has to answer for it.
Our new little maid, okay? I don't remember her name. What is her name? Jean? Is it Jean?
I think it's Jane.
Jane? Okay. So my husband pointed out something whenever I looked down to take some notes in our first viewing of the episode. There were eyes. Did you see it? Between Lord Grantham and Jennifer.
No!
After this episode, I will take Jennifer into my living room and I will show her.
I'm in denial.
I want to be too, because I'm really not okay with that. Like, I almost want to cry.
He's off limits.
I can't even talk about it. So, no, but really, there were a couple of things later on that if you see the eyes in the beginning, like, they just have a look. Whenever they're talking about what Sir Richard plans to do to the house that he and Mary may be purchasing, and they're discussing his I guess central heating, and they just think that is unheard of.
Lord Grantham thinks.
Yes, and Cora mentions because she's an American. What was it exactly that she said?
She doesn't share the British
distaste for comfort.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Cora will wear her blue outfit a lot and get Lord Grantham's attention, and all will be well.
Yeah, I kind of wondered though if that was part of his comment to her. Well, we're skipping all around here, but whenever she says something about, there's a concern here that Mary may still. I think she and Matthew could end up together, which of course we both think that, right?
Well, I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
I'm Team Matthew.
I am too. Is there anyone who is Team Sir Richard? I can't imagine. But they're concerned about that. She's spending a lot of time with him.
Right.
Well, and
yes, Richard's very concerned.
Oh.
And so he should be.
But his threats are so
He's a snake.
Okay. Ugh. She's really scared of him. And she has every right to be scared of him, I think. He says, "You've given me the power to utterly destroy you." And he will.
Well, and I'm wondering though, once he's married to her, that'll bring him down too. Because, so, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Oh, that is true.
And I don't know what he thinks. Mary is still a very independent spirit, and if anybody can figure out a way out from under his thumb,
yeah.
She could always kick him where it counts.
I predict that she will find some dirt on him that will make it very uncomfortable.
I was hoping that maybe there would be some, what could possibly be a reason why he wouldn't want to marry her, and maybe something like that would come about.
I don't know.
Maybe he'll fall in love with Lavinia.
Another interesting quote, I don't think I wrote it down, but whenever they're in the house and it's empty and they're checking it out and everything, and she says, "What will we do about furniture and paintings?" And he says, "Well, buy it, like everyone else does." And she says, "That's what your lot does. My lot inherits it." And I just kind of like that. There's so much more to it than that. It's not just the furniture and the paintings that his lot buys.
It's the history.
It's everything.
The legacy.
Yeah, she has. There's something special about them, I think, and because I think even though he's a self-made man, and whatever, that's to be commended, I guess, but he's just money. There's not any class there,
right?
So that's how I feel about it.
Well put.
The war is over.
Finally.
Nice little gathering that they had, to remember those that they had lost. I think it'll change things in the house a little bit. We know that the soldiers will be leaving.
How has the war changed the Crawley family? And how is having lived with the war changed the Crawley family? Changed Downton Abbey? Upstairs or downstairs?
Well, I think all around the daughters have they've grown a lot. I think they have a lot more compassion toward other people, and I think they understand, I guess, the plight of the regular folk a little more than they did beforehand. I kind of feel like, they've all stepped up to the plate and done what they needed to do, but and I think it's brought them closer together, the whole family, in certain ways, but then again, I see it driving them apart somewhat. I think some of the things that they brought into the house have caused some division. We have Edith. We need to get to that a little bit later. There's huge development. I think Branson is driving a wedge, and we saw in the previews for next week, I think, it's really stuff's about to happen there with him and Sybil. I don't know. I just think that there are elements that have been brought into the house that are, definitely driving them apart.
We've seen a change in they brought a servant in who's a widow with children. Lord Grantham he's talking to the servants now. He's asking them questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see Cora doing that so much. I don't see her changing who she is or how she conducts daily business the way maybe he does.
And I think maybe that's where we're going to see some issues with them. Because going back to what we were talking about earlier, whenever she makes the comment about, if they want grandchildren, then we have to get Matthew back to Lavinia and let Mary go ahead with this wedding so that everything will be where it needs to be. And he says, she can be curiously, I can't remember, curiously unfeeling, something like that.
Yeah.
If one character experiences growth and the other one stays the same, there's, they can't help but grow apart a little bit. We have a new guest in the house.
A very important guest.
Well, kind of depends on where you sit on this.
Well, either way.
Well, yes.
Either way. A visitor that brings a wedge, one way or the other.
Mr. What are we going to call him? Patrick Gordon?
P. Gordon.
Gordon.
Let's call him P. Gordon.
Just right off the bat, what is your opinion? Who do you think this is? Do you think he is Patrick Crawley, or do you think he's Peter Gordon?
I really kind of felt like he wasn't, because I didn't see how, is it 6 years, could have changed his voice so much that Edith, who was in love with him, wouldn't have recognized it.
Yeah.
And he said something about he sounds Canadian now. If you're raised...
That's not how that works.
No. I think in 6 years' time, if I moved over to Great Britain, I would probably still sound like I was from Oklahoma.
Or you might sound like Madonna.
Okay, so I guess I was... Does he not have any birthmarks?
I know!
Does he not have
marks anywhere?
Parents or siblings?
Was
he
orphaned? Wasn't his father killed? Wasn't his father on the Titanic with him? For some reason, I thought that. I may be confused.
I don't know.
I thought one of his family members was assumed to be dead on the Titanic with him. And I don't know. You would think there was somebody else left behind, but really, maybe they're the closest family he has. And if they're not recognizing him, I don't know. At first, I was really kind of scared that it might be him. And there are certain things that he said that I guess you could think that it was, but in my heart, I don't think it is him, because I think Edith fed him just enough, and when I rewatched it, he didn't say anything specific enough
Right. She leads.
Exactly.
And he says, oh, yeah.
Exactly. And even if Lord Grantham or anybody in the house decides to question him, it's not even safe to do that because Edith has already talked to him so much that he could say things and they don't know if Edith's told him that or whatever. I don't trust that it's him. I don't think that he's necessarily a bad guy. I think that, well, clearly he went through something really awful and
something's really awful.
Yeah. And I think he was just trying to start a new life, but the fact that he left the way that he did, signed at Pete Gordon, and, spoke to Edith and said that, you might find that Peter Gordon joined the regiment that he's a part of. I don't know. I felt like then he was kind of admitting that it wasn't him. Because
he says, Edith, you're so sweet.
Yeah. And
before he leaves.
If it was truly Patrick, why would he leave? If this was your inheritance, why would you leave it? I don't know. I don't think the real Patrick would.
But if he's not the real Patrick, I will be mad for Edith because I feel like he's just yanking her chain and
that poor girl,
stringing her along. And
that's what I wrote. Sad Edith, alone again.
Alone again, naturally.
For her sake, I wanted him to be the real Patrick Crowley, but at the same time,
for Matthew's sake, I did not want it to be. Yeah, poor guy.
Edith needs to learn some reserve. She really needs to learn how to not just take everything everybody tells her like it's gospel.
She's really naive. I don't know if he'll be back. I hope he's not back. I just want things to work out for Matthew and Mary. I was literally like yelling after this one because I couldn't contain myself. But a lot of that was due to the final scene in this week's episode. Mrs. Bates is dead.
Ding dong, which is dead. Okay, so I totally saw that coming though. I mean, Mr. Bates walked in and he has the black eye and the cut. I knew it was going to happen. I knew she was going to be dead. I knew he's going to get accused. I know there's going to be another trial. Is he going to go to jail again? Did he really do it? Did he not do it? So I think from the previews, they're making it out like he didn't.
I don't think he did. I think that she arranged it in such a way that maybe it would look like he did.
Ooh, and she's wicked enough. She would
do something
she
like
would.
That. Yeah, because they said something about arsenic in the preview for next week. So
she's evil.
Yeah,
but this is very mercenary of me. So if I just apologize in advance for saying this, but there is one silver lining.
to what, her death?
Since she's dead, he gets his money back.
Ooh.
So there's, if it all works out in the end, he and Anna will get to open that little bed and breakfast or whatever.
So sweet. I would love to have a bed and breakfast, by the way. Carson's leaving to go with Mary and Sir Richard.
I'll believe it when I see it.
You know what I think it's about? I think he's going to protect her.
Ooh, I hadn't even thought about that.
It just dawned on me the second time I watched it, just because I don't think he has any reason to leave Downton at all. Except, he's fiercely devoted to Mary, and I think he sees something in this guy, and I think he's concerned about her, and I think he sees that she needs to have someone in the house that she can trust. I really do think so.
I love Carson. Well, I'm just hoping that he doesn't have to go. I keep hoping the wedding will get called off, and
but the fact that we're watching this on PBS and we don't have any commercials, I don't ever get to just like exhale. So I'm really, especially this episode, I was really worked up the entire time.
Are you advocating commercials?
No, I don't like commercials. I think it's maybe not good for my nerves that we don't have commercials.
This is true.
Did you happen to catch the SNL? No? Okay, we're going to watch that in a minute too. So
I already tried. I followed your link.
Oh, and is it gone?
NBC ripped it down.
Oh, I have ways.
have a theory
Oh, I love
that I thought I would share. It's all in my head, so I don't know. There may not be any ground to it, but what I would like to see happen is the relationship with Mary and Anna. Because Mary has been so kind in helping Anna, I would love it if Anna could repay Mary by helping her in some way. So I was wondering if maybe that would be a really cool thing, even without Mary knowing it. I think that would be awesome. My 2 cents. And then I had a question, which I just think, I'm sorry, we're 5 episodes into this, 6 if you're counting the British airing of it, and the war is now over, and Sybil has been nursing this entire time, and we haven't seen a single moment with her and any of the soldiers. How many have we seen with Edith and soldiers?
That's
we
true.
haven't seen any of the Florence Nightingale stuff. And why is it that...
Well, in the first episode, I think we did.
Which one was that?
Well, the guy... Wasn't that the guy who killed himself? Wasn't she there for that? I think she was. Because she was there with Thomas.
She was.
But that's it.
But it wasn't a romantic kind of thing. I mean, his life was completely in tatters and... Yeah. So I've just really been like, why is Branson so special to her? Why are we not seeing any other guys vying for her? That's just,
I don't know.
That's just weird to me. Okay, so that's in the weird category. I can't believe you didn't bring up.
Yeah.
What
did I leave out?
Well, Matthew is very sullen.
Oh, he is.
And even though he's all sulky, I think the smoldering really suits him.
I kind of wish he would just...
I think...
snap out of it.
I think it's part of his growing up. I think he still has some growing up to do.
He's got a spoiled child thing going on.
Yeah. Maybe it's just because he's a guy.
Oh, maybe that is. Yeah, that could be it. Oh, I did leave something out.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe that's
yes.
it. He feels something. I'm assuming his legs.
Well, yeah.
I didn't leave it out. It is in my notes. I just skipped over it. Matthew feels something.
There were some pretty disturbing comments on the internet about that. I was not enjoying the Twitter feed when that happened.
I wasn't paying attention.
Way
but I can only imagine.
Oh, yeah. I turned off Twitter at that point.
Oh, that's funny. I think I'm getting a little red.
But Bates is pushing him, so Bates knows. So what's Bates going to do with this? So so I'm hoping it gets back to Anna.
Ooh. And then gets back to Mary.
But, there's hope.
There is hope.
There is hope. A new hope.
As long as we can get rid of Lavinia, there's hope.
So how are we going to do that?
Well, he's going to have to make the decision. I think that's what's going to make it so much more important. And I don't know, final, because it's not going to be him telling her to leave because he can't walk and they'll never have children. It's going to be him choosing, maybe not necessarily Mary because she may not be available yet, but just saying no to her and telling her that he can't marry her because he just can't.
Remember how he told her last episode that that Richard would have to make her happy or else he would answer to Matthew?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I can just see Richard being a slime bag and Matthew getting all... I don't know.
Yeah.
We have high hopes for the next 2 episodes.
Yes, we do. Tell them where they can find us.
You can find us at PS Petticoats on Twitter. And you can find her
at Miss Wizabus.
And you can find me at Jennifer White.
And we're both fairly entertaining.
We try. I try.
Yeah. So, we will see you next time. Thank you for watching our fun little show. Bye. Do you have a problem with comfort? I certainly don't.
I like comfort.
I know. I really like air conditioning. I live in Oklahoma,
And my
and
memory foam.
oh, memory foam.
Oh, yeah.
At work, they call me the queen of Google.
Okay, so that's in the weird category.
Well, I guess with that, we can close this up.
You are pretty red.
I know. I'll cut this out at the end.